All right, welcome everybody here inside the Den Fox 5 Sports, Sound Off Sports. Mike Davis here with you. I got Big Game James with me. James Worthy, Hall of Famer, three-time champ, first overall pick, 1982 draft. You've done it all. Hall of Famer. I mean, James, it's great to be with you. This is where I want to start. We got a lot of great Lakers, right? You play with Magic. You play with Kareem. All these legends, you know, Kobe, Shaq. Now we got Luka, we got LeBron, but you and Kobe and Magic, you guys played your whole career with the Lakers. That's a special thing, right? There's a difference there.
It really is. A lot of my friends who've played for other teams, you know, sometimes they'll cheer for this team, they'll cheer for this team. They'll be loyal to two different teams. I've only been loyal to one team, and it's the only team that I know. So my years there with the Lakers under Jerry West and Dr. Buss and Pat Riley were the best. And so I know no other way, but the Lakers. I can't say like Robert Horry that I've been to San Antonio, I played in Houston. I guess those experiences are nice, but being in one city has been really cool.
There's something special about that. But let's go back to before Lake Show stuff, before Showtime Lakers. Ashbrook in Gastonia, North Carolina. You play high school. You were All-American, all that kind of stuff. Parade, McDonald's, all that good stuff. You go to the UNC, and you said to me before the show even started, you weren't going to go anywhere else. It was always UNC for you. So you go play. You're there with Dean Smith, a legend, right? You put on those baby blues. What did it feel like when you put on that Chapel Hill UNC colors and you're playing for a legend?
Yeah, I loved Coach Smith ever since I was like in 14 years old. I went to basketball camp there in the 9th and 10th grade all through high school.
Oh, okay.
So I knew a lot about the program. I knew Coach Smith. I loved the way he coached and the way he treated his players. Like, he required you to go to class. He wanted the players to be a part of, the student body, and he was very conscious. It didn't matter if you were Michael Jordan or you were Michael, Davis, the ball boy, right?
That's me.
Didn't matter. So everybody was equal. I had a great experience there.
Right.
And but after winning in '82, it was Coach Smith who actually encouraged me to enter into the draft because he thought it was good time. And just so happened that Ralph Sampson stayed at Virginia.
Right.
And that made me available for the Lakers at the number one pick.
First overall pick, Dominique goes 3. But when you're at UNC, I believe in The Last Dance, you were talking about MJ because you play with Sam Perkins and MJ. You're a junior, and Michael Jordan is a freshman.
Yes.
And you said, I think in the doc, like, for 3 weeks, you were better than him.
I tell people all the time, I start out by saying, hey, look, I was better than Michael Jordan. And then I paused for a second and I said, for about 3 weeks, because I could tell that he had something. I didn't know he was going to be what he turned out to be, but he was not afraid. And the one thing that he did is he sought out the best. If it were backgammon, he sought out the best backgammon player in the dorm. If it was chess, and I was the best guy on the team at the time. So he sought me out. He wanted to play one-on-one. He's always trying to challenge me. He bullied me, actually.
He bullied you as a freshman.
Me, yeah. and he just was an assassin. Even at that age, you could tell he hadn't developed it yet, but it didn't matter. He didn't mind losing, but he was always coming back for more. And I knew he had the attitude of a champion, but he took it to the next level.
And you said, he wasn't cocky. He was confident.
Very confident. He wasn't an arrogant guy. A lot of people thought he was. He just was going to outwork you. He was going to test you to see just how strong you were mentally.
Right.
And he was really good at figuring out who you were. So if you were weak, he knew it, and he would play on that. If you were strong, he wanted to challenge that. He wanted more of that. But just a phenomenal mindset, and I saw it develop when he was 18 years old. He had it, but he just took it to another level.
Do you think all Hall of Famers, is that a prerequisite to have that type of intensity? I mean, I think Kobe had a lot of that assassin mentality, but there's guys who are very talented who have potentially Hall of Fame careers like a Carmelo Anthony, but they're not thinking of the game in that kind of way. Do you think it's a prerequisite, or is it they're just certain guys that it just means more to them?
I think most guys have to have it, to reach a certain level. We all have it, but I think there's a certain category
where it's
guys
even more
who take it to a level that most of us don't see. Michael took it to that level. Kobe, LeBron, you can say, is taking it to a level. I like to think of my guys like Magic and Larry Bird taking it to that next level. So there is another level we all try to get to, but some guys mentally, and then they know how to transfer that onto the court physically. It takes a lot of willpower and discipline to get to that point, and very few guys can get there, but Michael was one, Magic was one, Kobe. They just love what they do and they sleep it. And when they wake up in the morning, they just want to knock somebody out.
What was it like, this Showtime Lakers teams? I'm good friends with Spencer Haywood, comes in here a lot.
Yeah.
We
Good
talk
guy.
with him a lot. It's crazy because you guys were, it was celebrity. It was, Spencer tells me stories, just of he's with Iman, and David Bowie steals Iman from, like, all these kinds of things that were going on. What was it like just being in that era? Before social media, what was it like to be the biggest show in town and to be that successful? Because, nowadays I think there's a lot of social media and there's these guys that they're big names, but they don't win. To win, too, and to be the biggest show in town, that's big stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty big. No social media. That was great. But, we were Hollywood. And, Dr. Buss, he knew where he was, and he wanted to promote that.
Yeah,
there was whatever. You had Jack Nicholson, you had Denzel Washington, you had all these great actors and actresses, and Dr. Buss wanted the Lakers to be in that same conversation. So what he did is he had floor seats for celebrities. No one ever done that. No one had ever put seats on the floor yet. He did that. He came up with the Laker girls. He promoted having stars at the game. He brought them in the locker room afterwards to meet us. So I remember, who walked in the locker room? I think it was Walter Matthau.
Really?
My dad loved
the Odd Couple, right?
He loved it. And I was like, that's and then there's Whoopi Goldberg over there. We would be shocked to see him. But it was just an amazing, business that he started and turned it into Showtime.
When you think of Jerry West as the GM, Pat Riley as the head coach, you, Magic, Kareem, these teams, Michael Cooper, Michael Thompson, is incredible, Byron Scott. What was Riley more to pinpoint as the person who really made this thing function, or do you think Jerry West was? Who would you give more credit to?
I think Jerry West was the greatest general manager ever, and he was coaching at the time where he knew that coaching was not for him.
Right.
Stepped down and introduced it to Pat Riley. Jerry West, he just knows talent. He knows to draft a guy like A.C. Green, He took me over Dominique Wilkins and Terry Cummings because he knew that I was Dean Smith guy and I'd fit in better. But Pat Riley, he's the general. He's Mr. Preparation.
Yeah.
He's the best communicator. You're going to be ready. And he didn't mind being, as critical as he needed to be to get what he thought you had in you. So he was a master at communication. He knew how far he could push you.
Right.
He was always prepared. And the one thing that Pat Riley did the best is he thought on his feet better than anybody. He could have a game plan, and he could throw it away in the second quarter and just started to feel the game.
He'd make adjustments.
He could just feel the
In-game,
game, and he knew how to communicate to people. He knew how far he could push you just right to the cliff.
Yeah.
And he would get what he wanted out of you, and he was really good at that.
Before we let you go, so we got so much to talk about with your playing, and I even want to get your take on some things happening now. But you know what? We're watching the game today. These guys like Wembanyama. There's these freaks out here, even the Jokic's of the world, Giannis's of the world. It's a totally different game. And when you really came into the NBA and started developing in 85 and 86, 87, you win, those 3 championships, and you have that massive NBA finals where you're the MVP in 87 and you beat the Pistons, and, you go 29 in game 6 with 9 boards, and then game 7, game 7, big time stuff. You triple double, 36 points, you really revolutionized the 3, the small 4, because there weren't a lot of athletic forwards back then. It's not how we're seeing it today, where Wembanyama can play 1 through 5. You really were a guy who you could finish at the rim. You could run the fast break, which a lot of bigs couldn't do. And then in the low post, you could get the ball on the block. So, a Lambeer, somebody would put their arm on you, and within a second, boom, you're gone, or then if they're creeping that way, you do the up and under. So you had such a tremendous feel for the game. How are you a pioneer, and how do you revolutionize something before you even have a blueprint? Because now guys could say, I saw James Worthy do that. Oh, I saw KD do this. It's different when you don't have anybody to model your game after. Yeah. So how did you do that?
Well, it came to a unique situation. The number 1 draft pick usually goes to the worst team in the league.
Right.
I just happened to go to the Lakers due to a prior trade that they made several years ago, and they just happened to have the number 1 draft pick.
And there was even like a coin flip.
There wasn't even a lottery. It was a coin toss between the worst team, which was the Clippers, and the team that actually had the number 1 draft pick, which was the Lakers. So I knew coming in I was going to have a unique mentality, because I was a power forward in college. I wasn't going to play power forward in the NBA. Those guys were murderers, And so I had to. I was quick enough to keep up with the small forwards, but I had to develop an outside shot, and then the footwork came after that. So once I, got the edge with the size, I worked on my footwork, because I knew no one at the small forward position could guard me in the post.
Right.
That way I knew I could demand a double team. So when Pat Riley put me in the post, I demanded a double team. Someone was open. But the footwork came from Pete Knowles' big man camp. I spent a lot of time there in the summer with guys like Kiki Vandeweghe, Alex English, and guys like that who were masters at footwork. So
technique, all those moves. But see, what I'm hearing when you say this is like, and you know how hard this is as an athlete, because you got to have that innate confidence. How many guys could be drafted first overall and still think and look within and be like, I need to get better? Not a lot of guys are like that. They're already like, I'm the party, I'm the show, I'm the first pick of the draft. What else do I got to do? Yeah. But you found it in yourself to say like, hey, no, if I actually develop my game, I could be that. Was that something from your parents, or is that something from Pat Riley? Does somebody pull you aside and mentor you that, or you just feel that in yourself?
I think a lot of it had to do with Dean Smith, who always, taught us to adapt to any situation, whether it was a man-to-man or zone or boxing one, or whether you had to add something to your game. So it started with that. But then when you come to the NBA, it's like in college, you might play, a great player every 3 games.
Right.
In the NBA, I remember having Larry Bird on a Sunday night, Monday night off, Philadelphia, I got Dr. J, and then Wednesday night, Bernard King.
Right.
So every night you're playing against someone. So if you want to sustain in the NBA, you have to figure out your own niche. And I knew that mine wasn't going to be in the power forward. It's just too physical and too dangerous in there. Mine was going to be on the perimeter and on the break. So I started to look at a lot of video of Jamal Wilkes. Jamal Wilkes ran the floor like a gazelle. Right. And he had great hands. So you have to study the angles.
Yeah.
I've been hit so many times with the ball by Magic, because I was trying to show him how fast I was.
Right.
But Magic could throw a 75-foot pass and hit you in the head.
Right.
And he'd say, you got to keep your head up at the same time.
Right.
So,
and sometimes you wouldn't even know it's coming.
You wouldn't even know it was coming until it hit you in the head.
Right.
So I studied all the small forwards and the ones that I would play against. I knew I had the size and the strength. It was just a matter of developing the footwork and the 15-footer to take full advantage of that position. So when that happened, I became more of a threat. I demanded a double team, and really nobody really had an answer.
Yeah.
It took them a long time until like Scottie Pippen started to come around, the Dennis Rodmans.
Right.
Those guys too could play multiple positions.
Yeah, you really.
But until that, I had a huge advantage. Like the first 7 years.
You were the
of my
best
career.
small forward on the planet for a ton of years, just because of that. And I think for kids at home listening and watching this, it's like taking a disadvantage and making it an advantage is such a cool concept. Now, if we fast forward to today, I mean, just let's start with the Luka trade. The Luka is
wow.
Where were you when you because this happened like 10:30 at night or something. Tell me where you were and how crazy highway robbery this. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing that's maybe ever happened transactionally in the NBA.
It's like winning the lottery without buying a ticket, right? We had a telecast that night, so we had just finished our telecast. And I forget who we were playing, but, AD, LeBron, those guys were there. And I was actually on the freeway about 5 minutes into my ride home. And my co-host, Chris McGee, called me. And he's an excited guy. He said, AD's gone. We got Luka. And the first thing I'm like, come on, man, stop. I'm just thinking, what do you really want?
Which fake tweet?
And he's like, no. So I turned the radio on, and sure enough, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow morning to make sure no one's playing a trick on us. But I couldn't believe it.
Nico Harrison, what was he doing? I mean, he got fired. We just saw that recently, and he even got Cooper Flagg, first overall pick, but. I mean, to trade a guy in his prime. Listen, scoring. There's not a lot of guys who are that gifted at scoring the ball.
And he was 25 at the time. So regardless of what a 25-year-old kid was experiencing, I think you talk to him, you try to get him to change whatever habits, but I have a hard time believing that's all Nico. I just don't believe that. I don't think a GM has that kind of power to trade a guy like Luka on his own. He had to, he's the GM. He had to, say that he traded Luka, but I just think
there's other things.
I think the owners, Jason Kidd would never have allowed that to happen.
Right.
Seriously. So I don't know all the details. I know Luka was a young kid growing up like most of us, but Nico's the GM. Someone has to take the fall. It wasn't a good move,
right?
And he's gonna live to not be the GM that everybody thinks he was. He's had some great jobs, done some great things with Nike, but this is the one that people are going to remember, and unfortunately. He had to take the fall.
It's a blemish. There's a few last things I want to ask you. So one, I mean, as this team is taking shape, the Lakers, they're doing well right now. They did get blown out by OKC, which it's tough when you're 6-2 or whatever they are, and they're playing pretty well, but you get blown out by the defending champs in that way. So you got Luka, Austin Reaves is developing, but I think the narrative that a lot of basketball heads always talk about is, okay, LeBron's 40, he's coming back, he just started practicing again, he had that sciatica stuff, ball dominant guys, Luka needs the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. LeBron likes to be a facilitator, have the ball in his hands. We even saw Austin Reaves can put the ball in the basket when Luka's out.
He's a point guard that can score and get to the foul line.
So how is this team going to be constructed and work together? We know, a lot of the ball dominant stuff is good, but protecting the rim, all this stuff, how is this team going to compete for a championship this season?
Yeah, ball dominant is not good all the time. We have three guys that can really possess with the ball. Luka, for sure, I think is a masterful ball handler, the way he can pass and what he can see. And Austin Reaves is the same way. And we know that LeBron, his whole career, has wanted the ball in his hand. So that's going to be J.J. Redick's biggest, obstacle. How do you get those guys to give up the ball and at the same time move it and not have it stick for so long?
Right.
We saw Oklahoma. We had a good measure last night. You think you're going to run that pick and roll and run it all the time? It's not going to happen. They're going to blitz you. They're going to take it out of your hand. So I personally think there needs to be a little bit more ball movement. Guys are going to have to give up of some of themselves.
Yeah.
I think Luka's got to have the ball. He's 26, triple-double guy. LeBron, it's going to be interesting to see how he attacks this when he comes back because I don't think he knows how to be anything but great.
Right.
And so, but I think in his later stage, he might be willing to pull back a little bit and let Luka do his thing. And when he has to step in, he also has to realize that Reaves can get to the free throw line like 20 to 22 times. I hope that he comes back and kind of just fits in. I don't think he's going to be a role player or coming off the bench, but I think if he just kind of fits in, allows these guys to flourish, and then when he has to turn it on, it also help preserve his career. But you got 3 ball-dominant guys. It could be an issue, but I think J.J. Redick has been a good communicator and getting guys to buy into what he needs from him.
Yeah, I mean, if LeBron's the third option, it's a great thing. Last thing here, so Emirates NBA Cup, it's happening here at T-Mobile Arena, December 13th and 16th. We also got the T's and Threes golf event happening at the Wynn on the 14th. But everybody wants to know, okay, 82-game season. This is a great thing to generate another championship mentality. They get some guys paid for even winning the NBA Cup. Here in Vegas, we've been starving for an NBA team. We got the aces. You remind me a lot. You know, Asia Wilson reminds me a lot of you. The way she's a two-way player. She does everything.
Woman.
She's good on the board. She can score. She can defend. She does everything like you did. Is Las Vegas, when is this going to happen? Everybody wants to know what James Worthy has to say. When is Las Vegas going to get an NBA team? Because we need one, right?
Yeah, they're a few years late. You know, I also think the All-Star game should be played here every year. A one-place destination where everyone wants to be. And I'm not knocking these cities, but when it's cold and snowing in some of these cities, you don't want an All-Star weekend there. I think Seattle has always wanted a team. Vegas, I definitely think they deserve a team. I think in the next couple of years or so.
All right.
I'm hearing things.
Chatter.
I'm hearing chatter.
Okay.
I heard LeBron wants a team here, you know. I heard the Adelsons who are part of the Dallas Maverick wants a team here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Vegas deserves a team. They got a football team, hockey. They need a basketball team. Then maybe they'll get a baseball team eventually too. But
right. You heard it there. Big game, James.
Definitely. We want to come to Vegas. We love coming here to entertain.
I love it. Big game, James. Hall of Famer. 3-time NBA champion. #1 overall pick. Laker, great. Spectrum Sportsnet. You're doing great stuff on TV all the time. Also, make sure you follow him. Great traffic report. You could be a traffic reporter,
I'm working on it.
You could do that.
I'm going to add a little weather to that report.
Okay. I love it. The great James Worthy. Thanks so much for spending so much time with us.
Pleasure, buddy.